Artist Tom Mckinney is a designer, a silkscreen printer, an illustrator, a watercolorist, and a portrait artist. He studied at the Husson School of Art as well as Philadelphia College of Art. His work has been featured in many publications throughout the country, and he's received countless awards and accolades. His works are contained in numerous corporate and private collections and has appeared in several television shows. Tom Mckinney's painting technique has captured the attention and hearts of those all over the world. Please extend a warm welcome to artist Tom Mckinney. Welcome, Tom.
Thank you.
So nice to have you here and so nice to meet you.
Thank you.
How did your career start in art?
Well, I was raised by my grandparents, my grandmother in particular, and she sent me to music school. Well, she played piano, so she thought maybe I should learn how to play an instrument. Didn't work. Then I saw Miss Belle Bojangles Robinson, and Gene Kelly and Fred Astaire and Dan Daly and all the dancers, and I thought I can do that. Well, I couldn't. I'm not a black man who can dance. So, but I always used to draw, and my father, who I was very close to, used to sit and do sketches because he was a big jazz fan. So he would do the sketches from Downbeat magazine, Metronome magazine, and I watched him, and I started to try to copy. But my first drawings were of cowboys. Like today's kids, they usually do action figures, you know. So that's what got me started. And I found that art was easy. Okay. I was not a great student in school. I hated school from the day I got there till the day I came out. I loved to draw all the time. And my neighbors used to say, you know, every time I look, you're down on the floor drawing something. And so my grandmother decided one day, she said, I want you to go with me on Saturday. And I said, where? She says, never mind, just be ready Saturday morning. So we went downtown to a place on 17th Street, 34 South 17th Street in Philly. It was a big industrial building. And when I walked in there, and there was a long hallway, and they had these rooms on either side. And so we went into this room, and a guy came out. He was a little short man with a big mop of hair and a big, thick mustache. And he said, so you want to be an artist? And I said, yes, sir. He says, well, and he said, let me show you around. So he showed me around. I just knew right then I loved it. I loved it. Okay. And so every Saturday, from 9 to 12, I would go catch the L, and I would go down to 34 South 17th Street to the art school, John Husson School of Art. Okay. He was a Hungarian man, very nice man, and that started everything. Okay. I never wanted to be anything else.
Okay, and what kind of art do you do? How would you characterize your art?
I'm a realist. I love people, and in all my travels, I'll go different places and I'll sit and watch people. I love the expressions of people, especially elderly people. And then of course, with the jazz thing, because of my dad, I began to, when I finally was able to express myself visually, I would do those kind of things. And then I spent time in Europe in the Army, and I got caught up with my sergeant. He saw me sketching one day, and he said, I want to talk to you. He said, I got a problem I want you to solve, you know. So next thing I knew, I was doing training aids, and I was stationed in Darmstadt, Germany. And while I was there, I found out that GIs like to spend money. So I was doing pictures of girlfriends and dogs and cars, and making a little extra money on the side. So when I came out, I went to Boeing aircraft. They were making the Chinook helicopter at the time. And so I worked in the art department there. And I also worked at the Franklin Mint doing coins. That didn't last too long because I wanted to sculpt, learn how to sculpt, and they wanted me to do illustrations. So I left, and I decided one day I was going to work for myself. So I decided to get involved with the art show circuit, and at that time there were not too many of us that were out there on the art show circuit. I did the Rittenhouse Square clothesline exhibit for 15 years. I did the Virginia Beach art show for 15 years. And so I traveled from Maine to Florida doing art shows, driving these long trips, but it was great. It was like a bunch of minstrels or something, you know. The shows were great, and at that time, Black is Beautiful was the big thing. You know, everybody got, I think, was it Norman Lear with Good Times. He had Jimmy Walker, being an artist, and the artwork was done by Ernie Barnes, and he opened up the door for us to take pride in who we were and able to put art in our houses. It was always Black art. I say it's art that has Black subjects. So that's how I got caught.
Okay. Well, have you ever felt a need to have a theme for your art or speak to social issues?
I did back during the, let me see, I guess it's the late 60s, 70s. I got involved. I did stuff of Amiri Baraka, Stokely Carmichael, Black Panthers. I illustrated a lot of that stuff. I had one friend he was one of the, he was involved with the Rouse Company, and they had apartments and stuff all around the country. And he bought a painting that I had done of Amiri Baraka. And I said, what are you gonna do with this? You know, he said, I'm gonna put it in my office because this is how I feel about, you know, this guy was very angry, you know. So I'm like Rockwell and Wyatt. I love people. I can just sit and watch people. And even when I'm talking with someone, I am looking at how the light is working off of their face, or everything has a frame around it. When I look at someone, I put a frame around it, an imaginary frame around it, and that's how a lot of things that I've learned. I'm a lot self-taught, and I guess the talent was there, you know, and so I did get some training, but I think most of it was just out of their, on-job training.
Okay. Can you briefly describe the process of your art?
Well, I worked in gouache. I worked in poster colors. When I was in Germany, that's all they had were poster colors. So I worked in poster colors. And when I look back on that and I look at what I do now, my colors were a lot cooler. My colors are very warm now. And I discovered gouache through a friend of mine. He said, you ever try gouache? I said, what is that? He said, it's a form of watercolor, but it's different. So when I started using that, and then getting familiar with the papers and, you know, the things that, like, you're only as good as the equipment that you use. So that's how I got involved.
Do you like being an artist?
I wouldn't be anything else. And at this point, I know I'm not gonna be anything else. Yeah, I do. Okay. I love to know that I can look at something and make it come to life.
Okay.
You know.
Have you discovered any barriers to your becoming the best artist you can be?
Well, as an African American artist, a colored artist, a Negro artist, people always want to know, do you, not as much as it used to be, but they would say, don't you like white people? You only paint Black people. But I said, but if you not ask Norman Rockwell, don't you like colored people? Okay, you only paint white people.
Yeah.
So, you know, an artist does what he knows. You know, whether you're doing representational art or you're doing abstracts or whatever, you're doing what you know. And your creative process is what comes out of you.
Right. So what inspires you, your art, and what influences it?
What inspires me is just every day. I wake up thinking, if I got a painting on the drawing board and I'm trying to solve the problem, I may have a problem that I'm trying to solve. I'm just inspired by just having God give the talent to be able to do this. I know a lot of people would give an arm and a leg to do what I do, you know. They can't have mine.
Okay. So, how has the industry changed over the years?
Well, I think uh, the majority of my customers recently have been mostly Caucasian.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know why. Uh, I think people get up, they think that as an artist, your prices don't rise like everything. I've had people say
Right.
to me, I bought a painting from you in 1970 for $50. Well, now it's $300, $500, whatever. I think if you're not knowledgeable, you don't have to be a connoisseur. If it's what you like. If you like it and you can afford to buy it, then buy it. Uh, trying to it's kind of hard to educate people. My thing is, I don't try to sell you my art. I let my art sell it to you.
Right. It sells itself.
Yeah.
Yes,
hmm I was going to
absolutely.
say that, but I couldn't think about it
That's
today.
okay.
Yeah.
So, what would you recommend to up and coming artists today?
Well, I'd say that you have to. First of all, you got to let people know that you're confident in what you do. You know you're good at what you do,
Mhm.
or you wouldn't be doing it, unless it's just a hobby. And then once a hobby can become something more important. But I don't know. I I don't know. It's kind of hard.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how has your work changed over time?
My work has changed drastically over time, just out of life's experiences. You do something every day, and you're really dedicated to it. It just comes. I think that you don't even realize your progress until you go back to where you were. I
Mhm.
always tell people, look at where you were, look at where you are, and think about where you want to go. You know,
Mhm.
and a lot of it is automatic. It just happens in the process. I've had the artists say to me, "But I'm afraid to do this. I'm afraid to do that." I said, "Well, you're gonna fail. We all fail,
Yeah, we all do.
but you have to keep going,
Absolutely.
and you have to have the confidence enough in yourself to know that, hey, I can do this. It's just gonna take me a little while.
Right. Exactly.
Every day that you do something is a different day. There are things that happen to you that you have no clue as to how it happened, but that was the time it came,
Mhm.
because that was the time it was supposed to come. You know.
Well, briefly describe a work that either you're most proud of or a work that you're currently working on that you might be having an issue with, having to resolve it, or just give us a peek into the psyche of Tom McKinney and
Um,
his current endeavors.
I sit and think about things, and I kind of now at this point in my life, I don't try to do stuff to please people. I do stuff to please me,
Hmm.
because if I'm happy, I don't really worry about what people
Right.
say or think. Um, I've tried to be as honest as I can about what I do and how I feel, and even in my expressions of myself. A lot of people say, "You come right out and say how you feel." I said, "Well, then I'm not going to blindside you by something later on." You'll say, "Why did you say that? Or why did you do that?"
Hmm.
And also with the art, um, there are certain things that I like to do, and there are some things I want to do,
Hmm.
and there's some things I don't want to do. I'm not an abstract artist. I never will be. I'm not.
Hmm.
I've never been interested. I would purchase a piece of abstract art, but I just am not interested in doing it. I'm trying to
Right.
be the best representational artist and make my people come off, and so people say that person reminds me of my Uncle Freddie or my Aunt Mary, or
Mm.
um, you know uh, that's how I feel.
Okay. Well, you have an amazing body of work. You have inspired many artists, including myself.
Oh.
Your technique is very much similar to mine,
Mm-hmm.
or I should say that in the reverse. My technique
Mm-hmm.
developed based on how your work inspired me,
Right.
and I'm sure that many people will come to you and tell you that your work really, really inspired them. They loved looking at it. It's been in their homes, and it's really important to have imagery on your walls that is
Reflects who you
uplifting
are. Right.
and reflects who
Right.
you are. And your work has done that and more.
I was telling people that, when I have a show and I tell people about my show, I said, I don't want you to think that when I tell you I'm having a show, I'm looking for you to come to buy. I'm looking for you to come and support me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Because it's important that people see that people come and they support you. And I have friends who usually come to most of my
And
shows. Then I
support
have
you.
some friends who don't.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Every artist needs support.
Mhm.
Every
You
artist
need
needs
that
support.
more. You need that as much as you need the money.
Absolutely.
So that's what I was trying
Absolutely.
to tell. I told a couple of my friends this last show I did. I said, I don't want you to buy anything. I want you to just show up so people know that I got some a following.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And looking at art can be, you can see something different. It doesn't have to be abstract.
Oh yeah.
But sometimes it's like music or a movie.
Mhm.
You miss something the first one or even two times.
You go back
Maybe you
and look at
notice
it.
something.
I do that. I mean, I do that with my work. Like I told you earlier, that when I'm finished, you say, how do you know when you're finished? Don't know.
How do you know when you're finished?
Yeah. Well, when I sign it, but that's when I'm finished. But I do when I finish, when I think I'm finished, I let it sit for a day or two, and I keep going back and I look at it and I study it, and then I say, that's cool, it's done.
Okay.
Because a lot of times I do go back and I say, oh, I should do this or I should do that, and it makes a difference at that point.
Sure.
Then some I don't.
Sure.
It doesn't. I don't need to do that.
Sure.
Yeah.
I hear you.
I can throw a color in, and all of a sudden, whoa, I didn't think about that at first.
Yeah. And it opens up a whole
It
new
opens
world.
up a whole different thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Wonderful.
yeah.
Well, your art is inspiring once again. I'm sure you've inspired many. And I hope that you would hear from them, because what we do, we don't realize how much we inspire.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You have been an inspiration to me, I'm telling
I'm
you.
glad.
And I'm hoping you'll continue to inspire me.
Of course.
Thank you so very
May
much
not see
for
you
being
again for the
with
next
us.
100 years, but
Oh, thank you.
yeah.